everybody, what's up? It's about 7:25 going on 7:26, so I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible as I can, so I don't run over my 15-minute time limit. But as you can see up there, it's Sonic News for today, the 28th of November 2012. And you know, there's some news going on, some unique news, some major news, if you will, that's going on within the Sonic franchise as far as the games, the comics, and the fans are concerned. For example, when it comes to the games, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Transform has gotten some very good praise lately from a lot of critics. Here on YouTube, video game sites and all that, they've gotten a lot of good praise. And why have they gotten this praise? Because the game, of course, is a little better than the original. It's a little better than the original in many ways, especially with the Wii U. As a matter of fact, Nightwing here on YouTube has acknowledged that if you want a launch title, has acknowledged, and I'm sorry for the bird in the background, but has acknowledged that if you want a good launch title for your Wii U when you get it, that Sonic and Sega All-Stars Transformed is the perfect launch title, or at least one of them. So that's pretty good. It's pretty good to hear. Now, as far as the comics go, apparently there's some newsworthy items coming out of this. Apparently the preview covers for 49 and 246 of Universe and the main comic have been altered. In other words, two characters have been removed. And who are these two characters, you might ask? Well, these two characters none other than Robbo the Hedgehog, or Robbo the Hedge, and Julie Sue. And you might ask yourself, well, why they've been removed? The same reason apparently Hershey the Cat was removed from the storyline of 237 and 238. Exactly. Because of the whole Ken Penders situation. See, apparently Archie Comics removed them from the covers because of the Ken Penders situation. Now, we're not entirely sure just yet. Now, the one silver lining is we're not entirely sure just yet if they've been removed from the stories, just the covers. Because you can remove a character from the story, I mean not the story, but you can remove a character from the covers, you don't have to necessarily remove them from the stories. It's kind of like with the encyclopedia. You know, you look at several characters on the cover, and you could take out some characters, but yet you open it up and those characters would still be acknowledged. So, just because Julie Sue and Robbo the Hedge, were removed from the universe from I think it was 49, from the cover of issue 49, so universe, I believe, or 46, I should say 40, it's 46 of the universe. 40, I can't remember, I'll provide a link down below. But from one of the upcoming issues, and Julie Sue's been removed from the cover of one of the upcoming issues as well, of the Endangered Species saga, where she was standing side by side with Amy Rose, and now it's just Amy. Again, you can remove them from the covers, but it doesn't mean they're necessarily removed from the issue, or from the story. So unless Ian Flynn comes out and says, oh, by the way, these characters are not going to be in the story, or in the story arc, then pretty much you have an idea as to why. But the removal of them from the covers kind of gives you sort of an idea of why, and that's because of Ken Penders. Now, the only way I think this could be prevented, the only way I believe this could be prevented from happening again, is if something is settled between Penders and Archie Comics. Like Archie Comics says, okay, we agree to pay Penders all these royalties just so we could use his characters, or unless something is shown that Penders is making up a lot of crap. Who knows? But until that time, I'm guessing you could pretty much see look forward to some other edits in the near future. Now, speaking of the fans, there are several fans over at sites like the Sega Forums, Sonic Stadium, SatAM Sonic, which also you can see the original preview covers of 40 of the issues I'm talking about that had Rob Weatherhead and Julie Sue. But SatAM Sonic, as well as Saturday Morning Sonic, and again, like I said, along with Sega Forums, on Sonic Stadium, Toon Zone, TZS, and TSSZ, and DeviantArt, pretty much have a lot of fans being very vocal about the situation, as we've talked about several times, about the whole Sally redesign and possible redesign of the SatAM cast. Now, we all heard what Ian Flynn had to say about SatAM recently, right? How he came out and said they were old, cliched, and niched characters that basically, if they were to survive, they need to be updated, in other words, mesh with the way the Sonic franchise looks today. Well, not a lot of fans, as you pretty much know, on any site like to hear that. Some do, some don't. And you can pretty much tell that a lot of people at Saturday Morning Sonic, SatAM Sonic, even the forums and Stadium, and I'm sure, like I said, Toon Zone and TSSZ would pretty much say and agree that but Ian Flynn has kind of dug himself much deeper into a hole than necessary. You see, a lot of them pretty much know that Ian Flynn, now a lot of them, I should say, and excuse me if I'm trying to think of what I'm going to say here, but a lot of them pretty much do acknowledge that Ian Flynn is only saying certain things certain ways, or saying these things because he can't say much. You know, let's give Ian Flynn credit where credit is due. He is at least, hold on for a second. I had to let my cat in. Hold on. Sorry about that, folks. I had to let my cat into me and my mom's cat back in the house, off in the garage. But like I was saying, you know, some fans will say, well, the reason Ian Flynn is saying all this, is because he can't really say much, and he can't do much. You know, now, some fans, like I said, on all the sites that I mentioned, have acknowledged that, you know, at least Ian's being honest about certain things. Whether we like to hear it or not, he's being honest about it. Now, some fans feel as though he's just making up excuses and is trolling because he doesn't want to give us, the fans, a straight answer. And basically, that's what all these complaints have been that I've read. All these rants, all these, you know, antis and, you know, compromises and stuff like that. That's all they've ever been. That's all they've ever been. Basically, all together, whether you read them off DeviantArt, whether you read them off the Sega Forums, Sonic Stadium, SatAM Sonic, Saturday Morning Sonic, Toon Zone, TSSZ, you know, wherever. Basically, all they're trying to tell Ian and ask of him is give us a straightforward answer. shoot straight with us. Stop hiding behind all these excuses. Give us a straightforward answer. Shoot with us and give us a straightforward answer. That, my honest opinion, I think that's what this has all been about. That's all they want. But again, we know, as much as we, the fans, or that portion of the fan base, would like to have that happen, it's not going to. The only closest we'll get to it is Ian Flynn at least does acknowledge, and I'll give him credit for this. I'll give him credit for this. At least Ian Flynn does acknowledge, if you will, and I'm sorry for the bird in the background there, but at least Ian Flynn does acknowledge that he, just as much as we the fans, he himself doesn't like the mandates handed down by Sega. He himself doesn't like the mandates handed down by Sega because it limits him. But at least he's straightforward in saying, hey, yeah, we could tell Sega no. We could say, nah, we don't want to do that because we want to do this. And we could lose our jobs. At least he's being honest about that. But as some fans look at it, all he's doing is just making excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse, if you will, and basically trying to cover his tracks, if you will, of what's going on. Because pretty much some fans have said that when he did this whole story arc, he basically did it without probably any idea of how it was going to be resolved in the end. So, another reason, of course, as we all know, the reason they're upset about this is they have said that, like one fan, and I'll provide links to what I'm talking about, has said, is that he keeps padding and padding and padding. This story arc keeps continuing it and continuing it and continuing it and continuing it. And all for what? To give Sally a redesign where she now has a t-shirt and pants and looks more Segified as some people look at it or say it, even though the design we were given was nothing but a rough draft? You know, is that it? You know, that's how a lot of fans feel. That's how a lot of fans feel. You know, that basically he's making up all these excuses. He's padding on, as one fan puts it, this Dragon Ball Z-like story arc, padding and padding and continue padding it on and adding on and adding on and adding on, all for what? Just to give a character a new design, or give other as well as other characters new designs? Doesn't make sense. You know, it's not an excuse to do that. You could have easily done that elsewhere. So, but, you know, honestly, that's all I'm going to say about it. So let me know what you guys think about all this news items. I'll provide the links down below to what I was talking about. And again, let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Video responses are greatly appreciated. And I will talk to you all later. But let me know what you guys think. Because that's what matters sometimes to the fan base.